up in 4 minutes, aren't they? Coming up at 12 then. Warm up at 12:05. It's going to be here in a second. What? I'm going to get round this corner. Look at the dents from last week. How are you meant to hit this? No, other side. No, we're going to hit both. We're not going to use the snare for the... No, because it's in those deep points. Should we start setting? Nearly 12. No, you won't get it right. You won't get it right. So let's start setting up the... and then I'm going to start it. Putting this on. Yeah, because everyone's coming now. They're coming round the
Hello. I just muted my mic again when I left the desk.
Shuffle in here. We need it more around there. Tighten it up a bit, lads, as well. Hey! Yeah, everyone squeeze down a little bit. Hey, go around the corner, we need it longer. Get pushing around. So when they're walking up, so basically, stop there. Push down, everyone push down. That's down. Everyone go down. German, push around. Further. Guys, go further. Sean, what are you doing? It still needs to go round. Everyone's
Where's the Guillaume's VTech line?
No, on the corner.
The Guillaume's VTech line.
Is he fighting up on the corner?
Yeah, this way we're running around.
This is where it's ending. Mark, give us a wiggle. Logan, we're thinking you could play the pipes when they're walking up, but then when they get you, just start running.
Hello, good morning, and a very warm welcome to a very sunny Sedbergh. We have a massive game to kick off their school seasons today. It's Sedbergh at home to Clifton College, two powerhouses of the school's championship league. It's going to be an almighty tussle between the two of them, kicking off at 12:15 today. It's a perfect day for some running rugby. We can see the fans starting to gather on the sidelines as the teams finish their preparation at this iconic ground and two iconic jerseys going at it. Of course, Sedbergh in the brown and gold against the blue and white stripes of Clifton. I'll be calling this one for you today. My name is Ollie Johnson, and I'm delighted to have you with me. We still have plenty of time before kickoff, so I shall talk you through the team sheets. Starting off with the home team, Sedbergh. It is Ollie McCall, Jack Nesbitt and Spencer Moore in the front row. Some international pedigree amongst them. Jack Nesbitt starting for Scotland under-18s last season, along with his counterparts at prop, both playing for Sale Sharks and the Newcastle Red Bulls, as they are now known. Into the engine room, we have Nico Jones and Zach Brooks. Nico has also represented Sale Sharks. Again, two pedigrees going at it again for Sedbergh. Into the back row, things don't stop there for this formidable forward pack. It's Freddie Turnbull from the Newcastle Red Bulls alongside the captain, Ben Dewsbury, also representing Newcastle. Finishing off, the eighth man is Robert Bentham. What a strong starting eight. That is a powerhouse pack. And Clifton will have a tough ask to tolerate them up front all day. Into the back line, we have more international pedigree with Will Basin, Sale Sharks scrum half and England under-18s representative. Alongside him is Thomas Jacques of Sale Sharks. Two half-back pairings there that are going to be pulling the strings for Sedbergh phenomenally today. Into midfield, it is another Jacques, this time Adam Jacques as vice-captain and of Sale Sharks. Alongside him, partnered with Oliver Ashton of Newcastle Red Bulls. Following on from there, Daniel Deloney from Newcastle with Sasha Minua from Yorkshire. Finishing off at the back is Frederick Scott. For Clifton College, the previous Daily Mail Trophy winners, they're currently 1 win and 1 loss this season, but off the back of last season's victory, it's going to be an exciting watch for them kicking on this year, with a lot of names being retained from last season. The front row is formidable, equally to the likes of Sedbergh. We've got George Lloyd at 1, Theo Proctor at 2, and Evan Davies at 3. Into the engine room, Jaden Sullivan partners Hugo Grange, and into the back row, Raf Chirijuli is alongside Jake Smith, the captain, Bristol Bears and England under-17s representative, as well as Max Jones finishing off at number 8. Into the back line, we have Nico Valabona alongside Lewis Popple, who excited at Roslyn Park last season. Looking forward to seeing those two pulling the strings for Clifton today. And partnered alongside those two in midfield is Harry Giles and Will Moore. Will Moore, a very exciting prospect, came up through the ranks at Ospreys and has since shifted over the corner to Bristol Bears, representing them at under 18s level, and international 2 for Wales. Into the back three, we have Zach K. Lovell with Logan Bowen on each edge and Glenn Gamble. The Bristol Bears under 18 and Scotland international recently got off the plane playing against Spain. Two unbelievable schoolboy rugby teams. There's names there that you'll see for years to come, and you are meeting them right now at the start of their journey. Oh, we are in for a treat. There's some proper pedigree there. I'm excited to call this one. I'm Ollie Johnson. If you haven't already heard that early in the stream, it's a pleasure to invite you to this very sunny day here at Sedbergh. It's going to be a perfect conditions for running rugby, and plenty of fans on the sidelines lapping up the sunshine. We can see the tunnel starting to form here to welcome the players onto the pitch, and the bagpipes are off right on the Scottish border. Of course, someone's going to be blowing those, I'm sure, all game long. I'm sure you'll hear a drum beating in the background, setting the pace of this one on a lovely day. I'm looking forward to calling it for you. We have about 8 minutes till kickoff. The players shall return to the dressing rooms, have their final rallying team talks, and I'll be here to greet you and them back to the pitch very soon. The countdown to kick off is almost at a full conclusion. We've got about 4 minutes to go here. I am incredibly excited for this one. Everything points towards a brilliant day for running rugby. If the weather didn't already tell you that, then the fans on the sideline most certainly will do. A great crowd for Sedbergh, an iconic location. We've all seen these changing rooms before, and they bask in the sunlight over the hills. What a day we have ahead for us. My name is Ollie Johnson. I'll be calling today's game. If you have any shout outs for anyone throughout this stream, then you can find me at Rugby with OJ on Instagram. Drop me a message on there and I'll be sure to get to any shout outs to this one, as there's a lot of names in these team sheets who will be going a long way, I'm sure. And I'm excited to call it for you. We'll have the classic strip of Sedbergh. Having names such as Will Greenwood from back in the day, an absolute talent machine, churning out players every single season to join the likes of Sale Sharks and the Newcastle Red Bulls, as they're known nowadays. Plenty of players in the lineups representing those and internationally for the likes of Scotland and Wales. Up against the blue and white hoops of Clifton. On the rise over the past decade, they peaked last season, winning the day in tremendous style, and they play a lovely brand of running rugby to suit their winning ways. So it should be an interesting tussle. We have the more disciplined look of Sedbergh. Rumour has it only being allowed to play in their black boots all season against the flair of Clifton from down south towards Bristol. Travelled a long way up the country to get here today. So see if they can shake out the rust of that journey and bring it to this absolute fortress. Yeah, I remember back in my playing days coming up against the likes of Cameron Redpath, Josh Hodge, Tom Curtis at Roslin Park, playing for Sedbergh, and they have obviously gone on to represent at the highest level. So it's safe to say a few of these boys who are running out onto the field right now will be joining. So we hear the fans getting behind the boys. Here they come in that classic brown and gold jersey. And here come the visitors, Clifton. Slightly quieter reception. It's a long journey all the way up here to the Scottish border. But nonetheless, they will be carrying the supporters with them for the whole journey. And hopefully, for their sake, bringing back a win all the way back down the M1. That's a new one for me. I've not seen a jumping huddle before, but I am very much here for it. The vibes and the passion behind that was everywhere it needed to be to kick this season off for Sedbergh. They are playing from left to right in the sunshine against the blue and white hoops of Clifton. Kicking off to start this game is a fantastic take in there, almost. Locked on, and Sedbergh have it first for today. Carry into midfield, but he's picked up and the ball is stripped early doors. That is a statement of intent from Clifton. Phenomenal decent to win the ball off first phase. And they have possession now just outside the opposition. They are met by a brilliant tackle from Sedbergh. Both teams getting off the line really well here. Of course, error from Clifton, but they retained possession. The ball went backwards, said the referee, so they continue their attack. Penalty to Clifton. What's the decision here? Early doors, only a minute on the clock. And they point to the sticks. Scottish international Glenn Gamble had represented for Bristol Bears last season, playing on the wing predominantly for them, but kicking goals regardless. Recently played in a fixture against Harlequins, doing much the same. But at his peak, playing against Spain for Scotland under-18s. Safe to say, he's got a safe boot. Hopefully I haven't cursed him early doors in this one. But it's a good start for Clifton. Managed to squeeze out the penalty there. Let's see if they can convert early doors. No commentator's curse here, straight down the middle. A brilliant start to the game and the season. And it is 3-0 Clifton. That is not the start that Sedbergh would have wanted. Minimal possession from the kickoff, but the crowd rallies around them regardless as they return fire here. Going short again with a flat kick from the restart, causing havoc for that Clifton lifting pod, but the ball goes out of play. Those short flat kickoffs are difficult to take. You often think the more hang time the better, because it gives you a chance for your chasers to get underneath the ball, but actually the flatter you go, sometimes the harder it is for those lifting pods to get up in the air. So an interesting tactic from Sedbergh, and they now find themselves on the opposition 22, a change of ends. But without the possession, let's see how far Clifton can go with this first set piece of the game. It's Nico Valabona to put this one in for Clifton, and it's a very even affair to start off. As Clifton play away into midfield, big carry through the midfield from number 12, Harry Giles, and they come around the corner, demonstrating their physicality early doors here. Our Clifton College, all the way, exiting brilliantly, and it's a kick from Lewis Popple, just finding the 50 and returned by playing off the edge, connecting brilliantly at the back of that ball. They find space on the edge here, plenty of numbers as well. A little bit flat, a little there, carrying brilliantly into that edge channel, and they find themselves back on the opposition 22, this time with possession, and they play from edge into midfield. Some great passing variety early doors here, going down the short side. Clifton just disrupting that breakdown, forcing Sedbergh back all the way to the 40 here, and winning the penalty in the process. Valiant defensive effort there as Sedbergh looked to spread the ball and doing so brilliantly. But Clifton just staying in the fight and finding a way to create a bit of chaos at that breakdown and following up with a tackle and a penalty. Glenn Gamble fires that one down the sideline, and Clifton find themselves back on the ball, back with another set piece in the opposition half. They throw it to the back, but it's overthrown and picked off by Sedbergh, sitting down the inside centre of Clifton and playing straight off the boot of 9. You would have thought it'd be an intelligent kick, but it finds only the arms of the Clifton fullback, who finds grass, and Sedbergh forced to turn back where they started on their own 22. But plenty of numbers back behind the ball. That's brilliant work rate, and they find themselves all the way up to the 50. What a kick return. And playing out the back again, showing early intention and lifting the ball into space, pivoting and turning and pirouetting out the contact, finds his scrum half, who unfortunately loses possession of the ball. Brilliant attack from Sedbergh, showing real intent early doors. But it's Clifton now back on the ball, finding a way to exit this one. Glenn Gamble tidies that one up. And Sedbergh have turned it. Back on the ball. Played into midfield at number 13. Oliver Ashton carrying that one in. And carrying off the edge is the front row, really putting their hands up early here for Sedbergh. Oh, throwing the ball out wide, palming people off, throwing offloads out the back door. The second row of the show and go and score for Sedbergh. Clifton brings bringing plenty of intensity in the contact area, but is no match to the flair of Sedbergh, throwing this ball around with brilliant accuracy this opening 7 minutes. Expansive play, playing from edge to edge, finding a load of players behind the ball, showing work rate to stay up with the pace of play. And that is demonstrated on a full 5 points on the scoreboard. It is exciting end-to-end stuff here early doors. It's Thomas Jacks trying to add the extras. Sails wide on this occasion, but they have the lead now, Sedbergh 2 points ahead. 5 points to 3 over Clifton, who started well, but haven't found themselves on the ball much since that opening turnover. Brilliant play from Sedbergh this. They're connecting really well out the back of those forward pods. They'll play off the edge, and the ability of those type 5 forwards to play a tip pass or a pull-out ball out the back, and then really intelligent from the outside forwards of Sedbergh to stay connected, stay alive in the passage of play. Even when the ball's on the other side of the pitch, they're still active, waiting for their opportunity to strike, and that they did. Oh, a brilliant take from Glenn Gamble. He's almost gone the whole length. Offloads the ball, and Clifton find themselves back on the attack. This stuff is end-to-end right now. Ballabone has a go from the base, gets the ball away. It's Clifton's turn to strike here. Brilliant angles of running. Almost find their way all the way over the line. 2 meters short. Pick and go from the base. Just has enough support to retain possession. But Clifton are knocking on the door of Sedbergh here. Panic stations for the boys in brown. Can they hold them out here? Clifton just knocking on the door of Sedbergh here, trying to barge their way over. Picking and going. Ballabone steering the ship here. Almost over. We see the crowd almost supporting in the background. They've made the long trick up to Sedbergh, and they want to see some scores. Oh, he snuck his way through the breakdown. I may have seen a knock on in there, but referee sticks his hand in the air, and it's a try under the post for Clifton. What a response from the boys in blue and white. That is a coach's worst nightmare for Sedbergh. They say 5 or 7 points are never safe until you exit. And that they did not manage to do. A brilliant take from the flat, short restart. Glenn Gamble taking that one through the air and getting the ball back for Clifton. The extras are added for Clifton. Five-point lead. Exactly the response the Clifton coaches would have wanted, and it's Sedbergh this time. An awfully familiar situation, restarting after the Clifton score. Kicking from the base, Ballabone goes long, finds grass, and it's a long looping, almost hospital ball into midfield, but Sedbergh return it, and again, held up in the tackle. Tackle made, must release, says the referee. And Sedbergh are back on the ball, back inside their own half again though. We've seen them go further distances than this so far this game, but it's a penalty. Must roll away from the breakdown, although he looks a little injured. Just a chance to catch our breath after a very fast start to this one. Clifton showing real intent early on, really showing how they want to go about playing this game physically, attacking the Sedbergh attack with their defence and their physicality around the tackle area. We just saw there one of the Sedbergh lads getting lifted up into the air and safely brought back to ground. But regardless, my mentality there at Clifton is to really get into the Sedbergh boys early on. They're away from home. They come a long way to get to this one. So they're feeling really as if they've got to stamp their authority on this one early doors. And that they've done, both in defence and on the scoreboard as well. Oh, an unfortunate injury here early doors. And the captain, Jake Smith, has his day called early. Unfortunate to see him go off. A real talented player coming up through the ranks of the Bristol system and for England under-18s. It's going to go amiss for Clifton, that one. He's going to be a nuisance missed at the breakdown. Fired very deep. I can't see much of a breeze in the favour of either team. It's definitely, yeah, very still, sunny day. So that's just a brilliant nudge all the way into the opposition 22. And it's the first attacking set piece for Sedbergh. Can we see them convert as ruthlessly as they did the first time they entered the opposition 22? They go off the top to number 4. Nico Jones of Sale Sharks, and they go straight to the maul. Clifton bringing that one down, but ball's available. They play into midfield and a carry off 12. Playing through the back there, wide long passes. And another big shot from Clifton fires Sedbergh back. Hold on to the ball, playing with that width again, but too flat to the line, forcing a pass. And it's knocked on. Just getting a little bit eager there. You can see the intention clearly from both teams here. Sedbergh are looking to move this ball around. They're connecting brilliantly at the back of their forward pods and staying connected into midfield and their edges. It's just getting caught a little bit flat there. You want to have a little bit more time on the ball to move that pass. But on that occasion, just getting caught forcing it again from brilliant line speed of Clifton, forcing those errors. And they have themselves a scrum again. It goes down on the far side. The referee goes around to have a look. It was Will Moore putting in a big shot for Clifton from 13. He's represented Wales at the under-18s level. One to watch for sure today, putting in some big shots on the Sedbergh attack. Straight arm goes up from the referee. It's a penalty to Clifton. He was not happy with what he saw from Sedbergh there. They find themselves with an easy out. Another coach killer in that situation. You don't want to give them an easy out. You want to make them exit. Try and force an error if you can, but at the very least, get the ball back from the exit. But they do that anyway as the kick is scuffed up the park. And it's their turn to counter. One pass is going all the way from edge to edge. Brilliant to see. With an even better carry from the number 13. The skills under pressure here from Sedbergh. Oh, something to behold at this schoolboy level. It's brilliant to see them going from one side of the field to the other, showing real threat across the park. And they go again, playing off 12. Number 10 has to go around the corner, squares all the way up, carrying the ball with ease here. The Clifton defence in these outside edges is drifting to try and contain this wide Sedbergh attack, and they exploit the short side this time. Just about managing to stay in the field. They find themselves all the way back up at the 22 again. Can they hold the ball this time? Jax fires another ball out. Got caught flat again from Sedbergh. Trying to take this ball right on the tackle line. and the Clifton defence is flying up at them, forcing these errors. Although Sedbergh are doing really well to move this ball around, going from edge to edge, it's when they get caught in these midfield sections that they've got to try and find their feet, give themselves a little bit more time to try and catch these passes, and at best, move it on, but at worst, just retain possession. But it's another man down here for Clifton. This is not what you want to see for them, as their skipper has already gone off. And it does not look good as the two teams regroup and give us another chance to catch our breath. We've almost had a point per minute in this first half so far. It's a day for running rugby and for big shots, apparently, according to Clifton, who are flying off the line and putting some heat onto this Sedbergh attack. It unfortunately looks like we're going to take a prolonged pause here, as one of the Clifton boys is being seen to. Well, as this Clifton player is rightfully being seen to, I'd like to thank you for tuning in to this second game in the Schools Championship. We have the Brown of Sedbergh up against the Blue and White Hoops of Clifton. Clifton off the back of a big championship win last season. And Sedbergh, we know all about those who wear the brown and gold, the likes of Will Greenwood, representing them throughout the years, and their reputation precedes them. These boys are very disciplined, all in their black boots, looking very smart. But the play they're running around with today is expansive, exciting rugby, but within that shape is discipline, moving the ball around against the more boisterous Blue and White of Clifton today, really flying off the line, making themselves felt on the defensive side of the ball, and then taking advantage of their opportunities. So far this game, when they've had their chances inside the Sedbergh 22, they've come away with points on every occasion. regardless of the caliber of any players on this field, it's always a sorry sight to see someone leaving the game, especially after 20 minutes, but even more so for the sake of Moore there, who is one to watch alongside Jake Smith, who's unfortunately also had to go off with an injury. That's two big names for Clifton who have unfortunately exited this game early. So we'll have to see how they can continue as a team. Of course, not reliant on two players, but two different makers now off the field for Clifton. And it's their turn. Back on possession, back under pressure from Sedbergh off the back of that scrum, looking to exit cleanly. Sedbergh come out, hitting hard after that little break. Just a reminder that our clock here is a rolling one. So it's a little bit now behind the referee's schedule. What a chip over the top out of nowhere. The fullback comes onto that one, chases after his own kick. It's a foot race. And the fullback has just managed to get his body on the right side of that one. Thankfully, Sedbergh take a slight sigh of relief there. They are back on their own goal line, though. We knew what happened last time Clifton were here. And it's pressure time for a brilliant, unexpected exit from Clifton. The scrum half just chipping over the top, finding their way in behind the Sedbergh defence, in that space between the defensive line and the fullback. Brilliantly done, unexpected. But Sedbergh just managed to recover, but it's not over just yet. They can't find touch from the middle of the field. Box kicking from there is never easy. It's a long way to get it off the park, and Clifton bring it straight back. Finding a little bit of space on the edge, and Sedbergh have to turn again. It's a penalty. What an exit for Clifton. A bit of jouet from the base there. The scrum half, Valabone, and the international fullback, Glenn Gamble, connecting brilliantly. He gets himself onto the end of another kick, but another kick from him comes off the toe. Oh, he's good at receiving them, but not great at sending them back himself so far in this game. And it's an opportunity goes begging for Clifton. But a brilliant kick into space. What a nudge across the field from number 12, Harry Giles of Clifton. And it turns out it doesn't matter if the penalty is missed, because Giles is going to pin you back for a 50-22 anyway. What a passage of play. What a way to exploit space. First of all, getting back behind the ball. That's work rate. And then the vision to look up. But most of all, the execution. It's all well and good having the idea, but actually pulling it off is a different thing. And that's a brilliant kick. And Clifton find themselves this time on the other side of the field to the penalty. But lack of concentration or communication, either or. They find themselves overthrowing the line out. Sedbergh back in possession. Just about getting away with this one and finding space again on the edge. Early ball out to the winger who kicks and makes Gamble turn back towards his own line on this occasion. It's a foot race, another one. Gets a shove in the back on the Referee says play on. And it's a try for the Sedbergh scrum half. Will Baston. TMO on this occasion. The referee's decision, as always, is final. Both chasing back towards that ball. Don't forget, you are allowed to make a tackle on the player in the act of gathering the ball. They don't have to be yet in possession. They can be in the act of gathering the ball to make the tackle. And that is the grey area of rugby there. Because one may say he was on his way down to ground. One may say he was on his way down to ground because of a slight shove in the back, but regardless, it's 5 points for Sedbergh and the opportunity to take the lead here. Brilliant conversion. Squeezes it through the right and upright. Goes Thomas Jacks, Sale Shark player, and Sedbergh, out of nowhere, have the lead. It's end-to-end stuff here. Clifton almost found themselves over the whitewash on 2 or 3 occasions there. But unfortunately for them, counter-attack down the short side. And again, brilliant work rate from Sedbergh to get all the way back from one end to the other. Gamble goes up for this one again. Can't quite gather. And Sedbergh have a chance to take a little breather. But they aren't waiting around for anyone as they play out the back, finding their own way of exiting here. Brilliant movement of the ball. The handling of both forwards and backs for Sedbergh is brilliant, and they put the pressure on Clifton and win themselves a penalty. The crowd really getting into this one now. The boys playing some real expansive, exciting rugby here. Sedbergh make no mistake with the touch finder. If anything, that's a brilliant kick down into the Clifton 22. It's only 2 minutes ago. It's Clifton's chance inside the Sedbergh 22 to have a go. They overthrew the line out. Let's see if Sedbergh are as ruthless as they've been so far today in the red zone execution. It's a full line out here. Forward in the scrum half position, but they peel around the front. Throwing the ball around loosely. And Clifton turn it over. Taking their own sigh of relief there. I'm taking my sigh of relief. This is almost a game of tennis. It's so back and forth. My neck's getting sore from turning from end to end. This is an exciting one from both teams. Let's see how well Clifton can exit on this occasion. Valabone exits, but it's not gone out. Backdoor passes through, and I can't believe how many bodies Sedbergh have back behind the ball already, showing real fitness and work rate. It's the 13 skirts to the outside, cuts back in, beats 3 tacklers in the process, and is just dragged down 5 metres short, but Sedbergh are back on the attack. Clifton vulnerable for not exiting there. You want to get the ball off the park because Sedbergh want to keep it on, and they are on fire right now. Whip from the fly half, throws the ball to a flat forward pod again, but they just managed to get the ball away. Over the top to the winger. Can he finish in the corner? He can! Squeeze himself down the tram lines and runs it all the way around the back. What a score for Sedbergh. Bringing plenty of life to this game. All you wanted for Clifton there was to get the ball off the park, give them a chance to catch their breath and reset from the set piece, but that's not at all what Sedbergh want. The work rate from them to get themselves back behind the ball. From that exit, you can see at least 5 players of the Sedbergh backline all ready to attack. They're not waiting around. They are good to go. And off they went. Straight back down the sideline. It was the 13, Oliver Ashton, barreling down the right-hand edge. And then plenty of width from the fly half, Thomas Jacques, who's now taking this conversion to spread the ball. Can he land this one? Sure can, simple as that. The forward pod for Sedbergh got caught a little bit flat again, but managed to swoop the ball backwards. Long ball over the top of the closing fullback of Clifton, Gamble. But the winger finds his way into the corner, as they always do, slippery down the sidelines. And even managed to wiggle his way all the way around under the posts. A brilliant score for Clifton. Apologies for Sedbergh. As Clifton now have another restart. Can Gamble get on the end of this one again? Another short. Oh, frustrating. Wipe at it from Gamble there. As the head slightly drop of Clifton here. Not what you want from that passage there. These kickoffs have been going very short from Clifton. You can debate the decision making or whether it's just a slight mis-execution from the restarts. On that occasion, definitely just dropping short. But now Sedbergh have another chance to attack, but we've got to get this scrum sorted first. Referees asking for them to listen to the call amongst the heated battle here. We've got Clifton, George Lloyd, Theo Prohl and Evan Davies lining up in the front row for Sedbergh. Ollie McCall, Jack Nisbet and Spencer Moore. But it goes the way of the boys in blue and white. That is a sweet relief for them after that restart. An air of South Africa about them there. Maybe deliberately going short from the restart to win a scrum pen. I guess we'll never know. But the kicking duties have passed over to the inside centre, Harry Giles, but Much the same result. Missed kicks from Clifton, costing them possession and territory. And we know what Sedbergh can do from any part of the field. Look at the width from the fly half here. Really escaping that inside press of Clifton. And they shift the ball, reaching the third and fourth defender and finding space for their wingers again. Clifton tracking back. Good work there, but it's a brilliant carry to gain an extra 10 yards up the sideline there. And Clifton decided to stick their head down for once. Long pass again. Out the back again. Going from edge to edge. Into the hands of Ashton. Pitch kicks to the outside and takes 2 men to bring him down. Clifton have gone from 22 to 22. No space up the short side there. The scrum half, Will Baston, really testing them around the fringes. Flat pass into midfield. Big carry from the hooker, Nisbet, who just gets stripped, but it goes backwards. And Sedbergh have found a way all the way back to Clifton's 22. Show and go. Footwork. Oh, what a passage there. Almost finds his way all the way to the whitewash, but Sedbergh are relentless here. Clinical from them. Is made all is strict. So with the penalty going quick. Baston finds his way over the whitewash, thinking quickly there. Goes the England under-18 scrum half, and I must say it's brilliant rugby from the boys in brown. Sedbergh going from end to end. This is the level of attack you'd find on the international stage. Honestly, it's a delight to watch. These boys pulling the ball out of the back, giving themselves plenty of time, going flat when they need to with a bit of brutality and physicality. But then the width and the flair in the outside channels to beat defenders, retain possession, importantly at the breakdown. Every player doing their job and find themselves now with a 14-point lead and a kick to come. Of course, is added by Thomas Jacks of Sale Sharks, and that lead is extended. 34 minutes gone here, and Clifton trail 26 points to 10. After a fast start from Clifton, it's fair to say they've had their opportunities down the Sedbergh end of the field, but about 50-50 of their conversion in the red zone. Now, another restart. Let's see if they can get this one right. Indeed they can. Going a little deeper this time, and the Sedbergh player comes forward onto it, carrying hard and fast, and we can see those players lined up for Sedbergh. They play into midfield. Good carry. Brilliant square give and go up the short side. Ashton's off, pushing his way off the defenders, and finds a kick into the backfield, turning the Clifton defenders, and they're all the way back on their own try line again. Sedbergh pouring forwards. Clifton just about finding themselves back on the right side of the ball, but not on the right end of the field, as they have to exit again here, forced to go from deep. No chance to catch their breath as Sedbergh bow down on them. Valabone here looks to exit, is charged down, regathered and scored! Out of nowhere this time, scoring without possession of the ball. Charge down there, trying to get the number of the player. Must be a second row, leg straps like that, and the range to get up onto that one. Pressure on the breakdown there for Clifton. They tried to extend the ruck back, but to no avail. As out the starters blocks goes one of the two second rows. It's either Nico Jones or Zach Brooks, finding their hands to the foot of Valabone, who can't get the ball away. Clifton again struggling to exit, and from there, ball's grounded. Conversion to come. It's straight down the middle again from Jacques. Brilliant play All came from the exit, though. Let's not forget that try was scored by the charge down, but was created by the industrious, but just clinical exit from Sedbergh. No need to kick the ball when you can move it around like that, find space on edges. And Ollie Ashton is having a blinder in those wide spaces. Looks like a big man to bring down. Better kick off here from Clifton. But the chase does not meet the improved kick as Sedbergh come all the way back, but they find themselves flying off feet. And Valabone is off himself. Finds Gilmore to the outside, squares up, throws the ball underarm to the winger, who finds his way all the way to the try line. He's over. What a score. No one expected that against the run of play. Sedbergh looking to go through their usual processes. But on this occasion, Clifton find a way of scrapping themselves into it. Gamble seems to have hurt himself in the process. It was the quick thinking of Valabone there to tap and bring a bit of life to this Clifton attack. We've seen their kicks to touch going astray. So he thought, you know what? Follow me, fellas. I'm taking this one on myself. Throws a long pass out to John, who just swiggles his way up the sideline. Looks like he's been tackled, but extends his arm to dot the ball down right in the corner. And Clifton are back in this one. With a kick to come from Gamble. He's clutching his ribs as if he's taken a shot there. Not looking great. Kick is as wide as it possibly can be. He is stood right up against the hoardings. Tough effort this. Let's see what he can do. Oh, brilliant strike. You can hear that one, but just pulls it. That's the danger of long kicks, as you can find yourself overhitting it, pulling it a little bit as he clutches his ribs, jogging back towards his fullback position. And Clifton finding themselves back on the scoreboard. It's 33 points to 15, coming close to the end of this first half. We're on a rolling clock, just a heads up if you're wondering why. It's gone on 39 minutes. We did have an injury, both to Jake Smith and the outside centre Will Moore of Clifton. And Sedbergh take their own short restart this time. Sevens-esque here. We know how good they can be at Roslyn Park. But they're taking that into the game here. Winning their own ball back from the restart. And it's relentless against Clifton. Another long pass to the fly half. Jacks plays into midfield. Give the forwards a go this time. Slightly sloppy at the breakdown. Retaining possession. Another big carry from Ollie McCall. He's getting plenty of touches early doors, along with Nesbitt. The front row really putting their hands up for Sedbergh, getting through a lot of work, but he's stripped by Clifton. Physical stuff this from the Clifton boys. Can they exit? We know the kind of pressure that Sedbergh have been putting them under in their own half. They're looking to run it out themselves this time. Oh, tackles made. Ball stripped on the floor. Once the tackle has been made, you cannot take it off the player on the floor. You must release both the tackler and the ball in the process. Otherwise, as you can see here, it is a penalty to Clifton, who look to exit. Again, these kicks have looked a little bit shaky from the pen spot. But this time, it's not quite Rosed, but it manages to find its way off the park. Up to the Sedbergh 50, and a chance here to close out the first half with a score on the board. Just about take it off the top there at the back of the line out. Bit of miscommunication as they look to peel, but number 8 has a go down the side. That's Max Jones. And you can sense the frustration in the Clifton forwards there as he takes that one in. Oh, finding that space in behind. The Sedbergh defence again. No way they're going to go the length again. Oh, just loosely throws the offload and doesn't quite find the hands of the Clifton supporting players. We've seen that. Oh! Try scored. That caught me off guard as well as the Sedbergh players. but I know exactly what's happened there, and that is incredibly intelligent play from the Clifton player. Proper rugby nosing this. The knowledge to know that there is no offside line once the ball is in the in-goal area. The line between the try line and the dead ball, that space, there can be no offside lines, meaning if there is a ruck and the ball gets passed back into that space, the defence can come up and ground the ball if they fancy it. Remember all the way back to New Zealand, England in 2014, I believe Sam Whitelock went for one of those, but did get penalised as he dove on the ball around the ruck. But on that occasion, Clifton coming up trumps, and they're well and truly back in this one. Another great strike, but bounces off the upright. Gamble can't quite convert as he's either holding his elbow or his rib, grimacing at the face. But what a first half we've been treated to there. Two opposing styles, the physicality of Clifton against the expansive play of Sedbergh. But we close out the first half, 33 points to 20 in favour of Sedbergh at home to Clifton. What a first half. Clifton just managing to squeeze out another score before half-time. We've seen them exploiting that space earlier in the first half with a chip from the scrum half, Valabone, who's been setting the tempo for them throughout that first half brilliantly. Finding that space in between the defensive line and the fullback who's sat deeper. People always seem to forget there's plenty of space on the rugby field. It might not be with the ball in hand, but the space might be just in behind the defence. So what does that require? A little chip over the top. It's a high risk, but in Clifton's case, high reward strategy. As on that occasion, they regather, slightly throwing sloppy offloads as they enter the opposition 22. But on this occasion, through excellent, expert knowledge of the rules, find themselves with an extra 5 points before half-time. As I said, it's 33 points to Sedbergh, 20 to Clifton College.
Same again.
Well, no, I'm still sleeping. I'll get a video. I'll get a video.
No, I said I was going to do it. I'm going to look at that. Not yet. When they start breaking up, I'll go. Why are we moving down? I'll read that with two.
Welcome back to Sedbergh Clifton. We've been treated some superb running rugby in that first half. Scores going both ways, over a point a minute. And it is back to a phenomenal pace as Sedbergh win the ball back from the kickoff and are straight off to the races. Flat pass thrown to the outside. Brilliant handling on display from the boys in brown in that first half. But Clifton fighting back with their physicality, and on this occasion forcing the Sedbergh player into touch. That has been the story of the first half. The expansive running rugby of Sedbergh against the brutality of Clifton. But they find themselves behind on the scoreboard as they've been unable to exit and execute on their territory. Kicking somewhat letting them down in that first half, and Sedbergh have punished them for it. On this occasion, their drill is sorted from the line out, and they play off the back into midfield, but are stripped straight away by the Sedbergh inside back, and they are back on the ball. Big carry again from the front rowers. Playing a little bit wider here. Another big name. Plenty of involvements from the outside centre. Ollie Ashton putting his hand up plenty of times. Plenty of rolling on the floor there from the Sedbergh player. The referee lets the boys play, and that they do. Spreading the ball, this time zigzagging back, and it's Nisbet on the carry again. Those front rowers really putting their hands up. And another Clifton player is down in backfield. Two have already gone down in this game. And a third might join them. Intelligent kicking behind forces Clifton to turn back. Puts them under the pressure. No advantage for Sedbergh. So a kick to nothing, essentially. And they come up with exactly that. Not the ball in hand, and it's given back to Clifton. But I believe without their fly half, who is down in backfield. So the kicking lies in the hands of Valabone at scrum half. Or going back to Giles, who again misses touch. So we know what Sedbergh are like on the counter. We've seen how ruthless they can be from these positions, and look how many of them are back behind the ball already. It's Ashton, the danger man in the back line, who's chopped brilliantly by the Clifton player, but getting a little bit close to the injured player on the ground. Whew. Clifton can take a sigh of relief there. But it is very short-lived as their fly half looks to be in a spot of bother. They've already had their two danger men coming into this game. Jake Smith, the captain and England under-18s player, and outside centre Will Moore. Again, international representation this time for Wales, both going off in the first half inside 20 minutes. Never what you want to see in any game, let alone one with so much on the line here for both teams, both playing brilliant rugby in the process. But that task looks like it's going to get a little bit more difficult if it wasn't already for Clifton, with the momentum off the back of that second half. Taking a slight pause in play here, just notice we have a rolling clock. So the referee's time will be slightly different to our own. But the fly half looks to continue valiantly, staying on the field, and they need him out there. Lewis Popple. Sedbergh making a change at half-time in the front row. James Moore, vice-captain and of Sale Sharks, coming into the front row. Let's see how he goes in this one. It was very even in the first half, and Sedbergh continue that theme, playing out to 13, loop around from the 12, going all the way out now to the open side winger in space, cuts back in, well tackled by the Clifton covering defence, but they are back on top in attack. And here come the battering rams of Sedbergh, playing back towards where that scrum once was. The forwards running straight angles back in against the grain of the Clifton defence. Little skirt to the short side goes the scrum up, but it's turned over. And up the sideline goes the replacement. John cuts back in, swerving run. Not held in the tackle. Throws the pass to the outside and doesn't quite find his man. Fortunately for Clifton, up the other end of the field on this occasion. Thankfully, they can take a sigh of relief out of their own half. But nonetheless, Sedbergh going pretty close there. Brilliant passage of play from them to stretch the ball from 10 to 13, wrapping around all the way out to the open side winger. And then that sets their forwards perfectly from that original scrum to run back in against the grain. But on this occasion, Clifton just managed to snatch the ball from their grasp and find themselves back up on the opposition 10-metre line. But it's Sedbergh again, another set piece to strike here. Straight down goes the replacement prop of Sedbergh. Head to floor, complains on his way back up to ground. Been confrontational in the set piece so far today. Both teams giving up a couple lineouts and the scrums being pretty level pegging. As we can see the fans on the sideline watching somewhat nervously on. Great anticipation ahead of this one and the season to come. What a day to start it. Glorious running rugby conditions these. And Sedbergh taking full advantage of that in the first half. But Clifton come back with a vengeance here at first phase. It's sloppy for Sedbergh. That is rare from them as a whole, as a club, but also in this game so far. I haven't seen them make any mistakes like that as the bagpipes now start to rally the troops on the field of Sedbergh. You love to hear the camaraderie at schoolboy rugby as the ball's claimed out the air spectacularly from the replacement John. And Clifton do their best impression of Sedbergh almost to stretch the ball. Throwing some wide passes off scrum half and find a little space on the outside, brought down in a covering tackle. As the crowd really rallies the cry here, calling their troops to arms in defence. As the brown wall sets itself up. No way through there for Clifton. And Sedbergh back on the attack. Their danger man on the outside, just holding on to the ball. Testing them up front goes Nesbitt. Clifton boys hold up the Sedbergh lads again. Unplayable. Straight on, out in the direction of Clifton. I thought I'd leave you to enjoy that war cry from the Sedbergh lads on the sidelines, really getting behind their boys in brown. It's an iconic venue, this up here in Sedbergh, and a long way to travel for many teams, and often leaving with very little. This is the second game in the school championship. Both these teams with no record to speak of just yet, but Clifton and Sedbergh so far both securing themselves A try scoring bonus point, 4 tries apiece. I believe. So at least Clifton will return home with something. But it's Sedbergh who are hungry for the win so far. And Clifton who are pushing them back in the scrum. Throwing into midfield. Slightly overran their lines, but finding space. Trying to play in behind, but managing to win the ball back regardless. Clifton back on the attack. Their chance to really put Sedbergh to the sword here, but it's a flying chop tackle at the waist from the replacement Sedbergh player. Ball put into space by Clifton. Slightly loose play, not quite up to the pedigree of the handling of Sedbergh, but that's a brilliant offload. Find themselves in behind the Sedbergh attack and lining themselves off scrum half. Not gaining many yards off that initial carry, which always makes the second line of attack even more difficult, as we can see the Sedbergh players here catching the Clifton backs behind the gain line. And Sedbergh slowly marching their way up the field without the ball here. It's always tough when you lose that physical battle up front. On this occasion, forcing the Sedbergh players to turn back, but slow ball at the breakdown will mean Clifton have Sedbergh would have a chance to reset. They've got plenty of time now as they've won the ball back. Held up in the choke tackle. Ball becomes unplayable and it goes to the defensive team. As I was saying, it's always difficult to create any form of attack if that initial carry is going backwards. Eddie Jones, for one, always talks about the battle of the gain line. If you can get yourself over it, you start to put yourself on the front foot. The defense has not only no time to challenge the ball at the breakdown, giving you quick ball, but are also on the back foot. Sometimes even having to turn around to get back on side, giving you plenty of space to attack with. But if that first carry doesn't go your way, as we're seeing from Clifton, it only incentivizes the defense to fly off the line. Innovative pass over the top of the head from Sedbergh. You can see the width they're playing with, and he's broken. He's gone to the outside, try to turn on the afterburners. John gets back and just about makes the tackle. Work rate from him in the outside channels, and it's a knock on from Sedbergh. The crowd again. Apologies for any loss in connection over that passage of play. But Sedbergh find themselves back, not only in the Clifton half, but almost on their try line. And they're forcing them back, but a free kick from Sedbergh. We can already see the Sedbergh backline there ready to get back, because we've seen Clifton mistouch a fair few times. It is proactive work, and you can see Ashton just wants the ball. Give me the ball. Let me have a go. He's worked hard to get in that position. Throws a Sonny Bill-like offload to the outside. Exposes the ribs in the process, but gives them up for the sake of the attack. And they have some continuity here. Plenty of width. Look how far into midfield they've got. And now you can see Clifton a short from the open side. And Sedbergh looks to exploit that patch space. The replacement runs up the sideline, throws the ball back inside. And Sedbergh are playing some fantastic rugby today. Shifting the point of contact, moving the ball around, always asking plenty of questions of the Clifton defence, threatening all positions of the field. And that is why they are finding themselves 13 points up here. Nesbitt carries hard in that process. And they're back inside the Clifton 22, this time with the ball, playing short. Not afraid to throw their head over the breakdown either. Those Jacks at fly half. Finds another Jacks into midfield. As the bagpipes ring out, Clifton turn the ball over. They might have a few numbers here on the short side, but can't get the ball away as Ashton strips the ball back for Sedbergh. Strength in the tackle area. And they're back on attack. Clifton can't catch a break today. As Sedbergh just retain the ball, going through the phases, knowing their roles and responsibilities, playing the ball at the back, a bit of space on this far edge. 1-on-1 on the sideline, becomes 2-on-1, cuts all the way back inside. Clifton scrambling just about, but giving away the penalty in the process. Oh, they go quickly into midfield. The forward sticking their hands up and saying, give me the ball. I'll have a go. And he finds his way over the whitewash. The replacement, James Moore, vice captain of the squad. Dale Sharks academy player and owner of a fantastic mullet. Finds his way over the whitewash. Clifton can't catch a break. They're almost relieved to give the penalty away so they had a chance to catch their breath. But that is the intelligence of scrum half Will Baston, England under-18s representative, who takes the quick tap. But you know what? It's the intelligence and the work rate of those forwards to be ready and expecting the ball, demanding the ball in midfield. As Jacques slots another one. It's a full 1-15 performance here from Sedbergh. They all know their roles and responsibilities within their system. And they all stick their hand up, excited to get on the ball. No nervousness in this opening round from them, playing some fantastic rugby. And it's looking tough for Clifton, who made a slight comeback towards the back end of that first half, but find themselves 20 points down again here. It's a long way to travel. It's a long way home. And you'd hope they'd leave with something. So they've got to find themselves over the whitewash at least once more time to take a try-scoring bonus out of this one. But as this second half is going, it's not looking all too likely. As Sedbergh, with the same intent, looking to spread the ball. Look at them throwing it around with relative ease. The final pass not quite going to hand, though. As you saw, getting caught a little bit flat. But you can see the intention. You can see the confidence of these young lads putting the ball out into space. We know the reputation of Sedbergh at the likes of Roslyn Park School 7s. We've seen them at the Sedbergh 10s, throwing these balls out in front of the attacking player, giving them time to reach out, catch it, and put the ball into space for the next man. It's all well and good having these fancy shapes and the intention to move the ball around, but it's the execution. It's the doing rather than the saying that is the most difficult part about it. But they are walking the walk. That being said, they did knock the ball on, so it's Clifton scrum, and it goes down, and they play into midfield. Scrum half pushing early from the scrum, but Clifton find the ball in space. 2-on-1 on the edge. Ball's held. And so is the attacker. Thrown into the bank on the far side. Brilliant drift defence from Sedbergh inside their own 22. You could see the early push from scrum half Will Baston. That's intelligent play, adding a defender to the picture, allowing his other backs to drift defend. So even though Clifton managed to reach the third defender, there was plenty of players on the back shuffle, corner flagging to cover and make that tackle. But it turns out Sedbergh are the ones to take the ball into touch. So it's a Clifton line out. They take this one cleanly and they go to the maul. Probably their first proper opportunity, and the backs pile in for that reason. They can smell blood. And they're over. Arm goes up from the referee, and it's 5 points on the board for Clifton. Pushing Sedbergh back over their own line there. Strength up front. We've seen that strength throughout the first half, in particular in defence, flying off the line and making some big tackles. But this time they do it with ball somewhat in hand, I suppose, from the maul, finding their way over. A real contrast in the styles of play today. Clifton, the brutish team, pushing their way over there, and they find themselves now with a not a losing bonus point, apologies, a try-scoring bonus point. So there's 2 extra additional opportunities for points in the schools championship here. 4 tries gets you a point, losing within 7 gets you another. And Clifton are back on their way to doing both here. As a brilliant conversion is landed by the exciting fullback, Glenn Gamble. He has been the player to watch so far for Clifton today. Finding himself on the end of a few chip and chases, covering back as well in defence, but really sticking his hand up for Clifton, leading the charge. He is an international player. He's represented Scotland at under 18 level, so you'd expect him to be doing that job. Sedbergh getting back off again. Haven't had to do too much of this in the second half, and nor of Clifton in terms of gathering kickoffs, and you can tell because that one was knocked on. It's very difficult nowadays in the contest of receiving a kick because there's no shield for that player anymore. Free run for the chasing attackers. And when the kickoff is flat and short like that, it's a tough kick to catch. And just being knocked on. So Sedbergh back on the attack. Just to update you, another change has been made. Chris Kirby, number 19, comes on into the back row in replacement of number 6, Freddie Turnbull. A Shark replacing a Red Bull. So many academy players on display here. Oh, tricky play there, but it comes to nothing for Sedbergh. Slightly overcomplicating their way around that loop, but still finding themselves on the ball. And we know how dangerous Sedbergh can be from anywhere on the park. Good tackle on the short side and almost turned over by the scrum half, Alabone. But Sedbergh back on the attack. Slow ball from that breakdown, but they've set up their short side well, but they decide to go open. Brilliant pass into the space. And number 7 bounces off. Dewsbury finding space. Slight delay on the pass gives Clifton a chance to come up. That ball floated in front of no man, but still Sedbergh find a way to make it work, and Ashton charges up the sideline again. He has really carried these outside channels for Sedbergh. Ball forced back in the tackle. Basin throws out another wide pass to Sedbergh. Switch pass not given out the back. To the inside centre, it's both the Jacques boys tearing up for Sedbergh, pulling the strings. Oh, long ball over the top, just a knock-on advantage. Sedbergh, look at them throwing the ball around. Changing the point of contact. Clifton looking all over the place, trying to lay a big tackle in, but they can't because they don't know where it's coming. Hands on the ground there from the Clifton player. You can see him not supporting his body weight, but it's an offside penalty anyway. You just don't know where the tackle's going to be made by Sedbergh. That's how well they're moving this ball around. You see a lot of teams working this 1-3-3-1 shape, as it's known in the modern world, where they have a split of forwards on each edge and then 2 groups of 3 forwards in the midfield. But it's the connection between them that counts the most, and often teams can't quite link them. Sedbergh have got that team. They're doing really well. As they're again moving the ball around. Flat passes thrown to the line. An intricate tap move, not coming to much there, but regardless, they retain possession, and number 18 is onto the field. That's Austin Sanford of Scarlets in Wales. A big lad carrying the ball. And Sedbergh back on the attack. Kicking behind from Jacques. Can he find his namesake? He sure can. And he dots one down for the boys in brown. They are on a romp here today in Sedbergh as the trumpet blares out. Good score there. We've seen Clifton exploiting that space throughout the game so far, and Sedbergh give them a taste of their own medicine. Finding grass in behind, forcing Clifton to turn, and finding no man's land back there, as no defender was there to scoop that one up. So it fell lovely into the hands of Adam Jacques, the vice-captain, Sale Sharks player. What a score for Sedbergh. They are really playing some good rugby here today. Clifton have put up a very good fight, but Sedbergh just keep on landing punch after punch. And this man keeps on ticking the scoreboard over. It's only missed one conversion this first half. And he slots another. Goodness gracious. The scoreboard keeps ticking over for Sedbergh. That's 47 points to 27. Anytime Clifton swing a punch, Sedbergh land two back. They now find themselves back to a 20-point lead. Playing with fire here, Sedbergh back under their own post, but we've seen them go further in this game. You never know where they can strike from, and they don't look to be kicking the ball anytime soon. Coach is behind them there, getting them fired up. This time they resort to kicking, but perhaps you can see why they haven't done that so much in the first half, as that one is a 100-meter kick going 50 up and 50 straight back down. Not quite the exit they would have wanted. They're used to just running the ball out, but the Clifton this time soaking up the tackles. As number 1, Ollie McCall finds his way back onto the field. Sedbergh here with a slightly rare set of circumstances, having to defend Clifton. With a scrum, we've seen them go forward to the last set piece. This time, Sedbergh holds strong as the bagpipes sing out again to rally the troops. But Clifton on the attack. Long pass, plenty of space out there, and he dives over. Sedbergh slow round the corner there, sluggish. Not words you've associated with them all game. But Clifton just moving the ball out there. You can throw missed passes when you're that close to the line, because it doesn't matter if the defence can track back. They can't track back very far. The try line is only 5 metres away, and in this case, diving over in the corner. And they respond again. Clifton have been valiant in the fight back against Sedbergh. Conversion to come here from the star player for Clifton, in my opinion, Glenn Gamble. Kicks this one over the uprights. He's been accurate off the tee so far today. Still holding that arm. Does not look comfortable. Kickoff practice again here for Sedbergh. Haven't had many of these all game, to be honest. This time getting lifting pot up or just managing to take it. Fair play, that is a difficult skill. The teamwork there to lift in those circumstances. Well done, but Sedbergh again. Strong in the contact area and strategic in their ball movement out wide, injecting himself into the walls. Comes to fly off Jacks, but he's taken a shot in the process. Penalty. Sedbergh. Mason goes fast, but knocks on. There's this fine line between playing quick and being rushed. And on this occasion, he just crosses it. International Grammar for England, just getting ahead of himself a little bit there. But good to see the eagerness of them to continue playing here. Relentless is a common word that's come up throughout this game. And Sedbergh have been exactly that. Foot on the throttle and not letting up. As there's another player down. I believe it's the fly half, Tom Jacques, who injected himself into that attack with real speed, but straight into the shoulder of a Clifton defender. And now finding himself potentially a bit winded, hopefully nothing more. We've seen a few valiant troops out there today, taking a few knocks, especially on the Clifton side, which has been a shame, but the boys have carried on valiantly, and off goes Jacques. He's been a key man for them pulling the strings today. Notice the width that he's stood at all game away from the breakdown. That first pass from scrum half to fly half is cutting out at least 4 or 5 players. Those 4 or 5 players are wasted, but they have to stand there. They have to stand there, because if they don't, Baston from the base is going to have a go at them. So that's the difficulty of the all-threatening team of Sedbergh. They can challenge you at all places of the pitch. And Clifton are really feeling the full force of that today. Back in possession, though. This time Sedbergh turning the screw at the scrum. And the referee calls for a reset. Clifton, play from the base, through 12, long pass, out to the danger man, who decides, I don't fancy playing down this end anymore. Let's get up after this one. Go the Clifton boys. Who's that getting back? Don't tell me. The number 8, for Sedbergh, chasing all the way back to recover that kick. What work rate from the big man. And Clifton find themselves back on the ball. 50-22, territory is on. The ball's rolling all the way out. Brilliant passage of play there for Clifton. Threatening the wider space, getting the ball into the hands of the danger man, Glenn Gamble, who pumps the ball long downfield. It was hustle from the number 8 of Sedbergh, Robert Bentham, to get all the way back. But no avail almost as Clifton kick back 50-22. Back in possession. We've seen them here so far today, catching and driving their way over, but this time it's overthrown, and Nisbet sweeps up, and a brilliant clear out just to hold on to the ball there. As holding on to it, they're doing now. No intention to kick. Almost intercepted as the Sedbergh fullback screams out in frustration, but a clear attempt to take that one from the Clifton fullback. Goodness gracious, both teams here today showing real intent to move the ball around and no real desire to kick it. Which, you know, we love to see that. We love to see some running rugby. That's what you're going to get in the schools championship. Especially from the likes of Sedbergh, as they are back with the ball again. looking to slingshot himself into the back of that scrum. Goes to number 8. Advantage. No, not an advantage to Clifton. Referee's just holding his hand out. And out the back they play. All the way from edge to edge. Plenty of touches for both wingers today for Sedbergh. Really demonstrates their desire to move the ball around. But sometimes you've got to tuck it up the jumper, and that they do, going straight through the middle. Oh, and Ashton decides, you know what? Put it on the toe. Plenty of space back there. It's the open side wing of Clifton, who has to get all the way back and kicks only to the arms of the on-charging second row. It looks like, and some slightly tired bodies getting out there now. Not the same work rate to get back behind the ball from Sedbergh, but Nesbitt, regardless, always throws his hand up for it, but this time throwing the ball backwards out to Ashton, out all the way to the sideline, puts the man into space. Number 20, newly on the field with the fresh legs, find a way past the fatiguing front rower down the sidelines there. Oh, a few of the boys would be begging the ball to go out there, but Sedbergh charging it back and just finding some space on the short side before number 20. You can see the fatigue really starting to set in now with these Clifton lads as they're walking back towards the post. Deflated and tired, but almost charging that one down. Extending their lead back up to 20 points. Both teams having a response for one another in this game. Sedbergh just holding on to that lead that they've ascended to in the first half. Clifton now walking this ball back up to halfway. We're into the 76th minute here on our clock, but that is a rolling one compared to the referees. Another injury or two in the second half mean there's probably about 3 or 4 to go here. Sedbergh have no desire to slow down, though. Neither does this bagpipe bloke, who is back blowing. Mason almost gets to the outside. He's not blowing. Oh, never mind. No 3 or 4 to go. That is the game, set, and match for Sedbergh, taking the win in their opening game of the school championship. And what a win it is. 54 points to 34 against the blue and white of Clifton, who, you know what, answered a lot of questions there. Sedbergh were throwing a lot of questions at them, and they just couldn't quite keep up at the back end of that first half. And you can hear the Sedbergh boys on the sidelines loving this one. They're off to a great start here in the school championship. Plenty of games left to play, though, as it leads towards the end of the season. In a couple of weeks' time, we have the likes of Millfield taking on Wellington College on the 4th of October. That's up next as we bring proceedings to a close here in Sedbergh. A long trip back home for the boys at Clifton College, but they'll take a point with them. It's not all lost here today. They've got over the whitewash a fair few times, but just not as many as the slick handling Sedbergh players are not afraid of throwing the ball around and finding a way of navigating their attacking shape. Honestly, it's genuinely a delight to watch at some passages of that first half and the second. Just their desire to move the ball around and the execution to get it right along the way. What a result for them as they form the tunnel to say cheerio to the Clifton lads. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. My name is Ollie Johnson. I've been calling this one for you, and I look forward to seeing you again soon at the next one. But until then, I hope you all have a good week. Enjoy your Sundays, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.